I'm Rasmus. I think I've caught something on my throat, so please excuse me.
Just put up the volume.
Yeah, put down the bass and put up some treble. I think it's rusty. My name is Rasmus. I'm very happy to be here today. I think it's a great initiative from Flemming to host a conference like this and then finally meet whoever is interested in these kind of activities here in Denmark. I run a Fab Lab, or I'm part of running a Fab Lab in Næstved. You know, it's the countryside of Zealand. We're down south. It's an old paper mill, and we've got a big old factory place. So I've prepared like a presentation which starts up with some shots trying to show the atmosphere in our place, and then I'll head over into the activities we've been having, and then I'll end up by introducing what we're gonna do from now on. So you see, this is the old factory space down here. We've got old traditional woodworking equipment, 3D printers and so on. And the main activity we conduct down there is a EU social funded project called Fab School. So that means we are having Fab Lab workshops with, I think we are gonna reach a little above 1,000 students. It's from the youth education, that means it's a gymnasium, business colleges, and it's youngsters from like 16 years to 20 years. We have ordinary open Fab Lab 2 days a week, and then we formed a member association which people can join, and then they can get access to the lab all time of the day. We've got a variety of tools that I'll not go more into details about, because that's the more trivial part of it. To begin with, some two cool guys called Morten and Peter, and I think we've actually got one of them here. Where's Morten? Oh, it's down here. They started out building this beautiful house called the Fab House. It was entirely modeled in Rhino. Morten, please correct me if I'm wrong. Modeled in Rhino, then unfolded, parameterized, and then milled on a shot-put-like CNC milling machine. So that's the foundation of our activities down there. That's the Fab House. This led to other housing projects. The modern eelgrass house built at a Danish island. We were a sub-supplier doing all the CNC mills interior together with some carpentry students we had. Then last summer, Jesper and Esben from Roskilde Festival approached us and asked if some of their volunteers could use the Fab Lab tools for doing festival projects. Where's Jesper? Oh, he's here. This led to two larger projects. This is the hammock farm with CNC milled arms for hanging hammocks. And this is a sign. It's a sign for the Relax City area at the Roskilde Festival. At night, it doubles as a Arduino powered light installation. Then, apart from making these larger projects in the Fab Lab, the festival thought that what kind of activities could a festival offer its audience to let them bring home other things than hangovers. So because everybody who's been to the Roskilde Festival knows that a lot of creativity is present out there, but it's tunneled into drinking games and festival activities. Anyway, we decided to try to establish a festival Fab Lab. So we acquired two 20-foot ship containers, and then put up a festival at the Dream City area in the Roskilde. So the left one, it holds the more delicate stuff. That's where the girls were. Then the right one, it had welding and CNC milling and power tools and the toaster, which meant that the L'Habitat, is anyone from L'Habitat? Oh, the hackerspace, oh, down there. L'Habitat was, well, they guessed it on our container since the toast maker wasn't a big attraction. Anyway, outside these containers, festival volunteers put up this temporary construction to shield from sunlight and rain, and in this premises we apart from offering the festival guests that they could in traditional Fab Lab style build what they want, they could also be part of different workshops. And this one is one of them, is build your own camp blaster. So we prepared, I think we prepared a little about 100 kits that festival guests could come, pay 300 krona, and then assemble a small active speaker for the camp. If you've been to the festival, you know that in every camp there is some kind of amplifying equipment, and for those who didn't have any, they could come to the Fab Lab or Makerspace and build one of these. And this activity, it was extremely interesting to see the variety of people engaging in this, from Lean on the far right to, well, these are some of the examples of the speakers that were completed up there. We are in the process of releasing this construction in the open source realm, since we totally subscribe to this idea that as much as possible should be made publicly available. And that includes the small digital amplifier circuit board and the rest of the construction. When they didn't do camp blasters, they did large pipe hacks, they did the festival guitar, that was another workshop project we brought, they did screen printing, and of course a lot of laser cutting, jewelry and other bling bling items. So that conducts the part of my presentation, because I need to limit myself to these 5 minutes. This is our newest project, since bringing your Fab Lab in 2 containers to a motto, that's inconvenient. So we've funded a mobile Fab Lab in an old converted library bus. So 3 weeks ago we had the pleasure of parking the mobile Fab Lab at the City Hall Square in Copenhagen. And the last slide I brought is the spacey interior of the mobile Fab Lab. So I'm not sure if we're going to bring it to Roskilde Festival because it's all pretty and white, but it's at least a very convenient way to take out your Fab Lab from the countryside, where, well, what's the saying? If Mohammed don't want to come to the mountain, we're gonna bring the mountain to him. So that's all for now.
Thank you. Hi, welcome. I'm just realizing that these slides are in Danish, but we'll manage. I'm from Open Space Aarhus, which is the second oldest hackerspace in Denmark. We started around the end of 2009 with 6 guys and some pizzas and some Lego robots at Aarhus University. And then we realized we always had to wait for the guy who actually went to the university to let us in, so we needed our own space. Now the problem with being an independent grassroots organization of technically interested hackers is that you need money to get a space, and you need people to get money, and you need a space to get people, so that doesn't really work. What we did was that we lent each other money. We created a forening, as you do when you are more than 3 people in Denmark, and then we lent the forening a bunch of money and asked around in the neighboring tech companies and so on, and that gave us nothing. But then we found an old school that was about to be torn down, and we moved in. It's being torn down in 3 weeks, I think. So that was 2 years ago. We moved in, here. In 2010 it was an empty room. By a month ago we had, I believe, 3 giant 20-foot containers of equipment that we needed to move. This was just before we moved. We just moved, by the way, as it says on the previous slide. I don't actually have any pictures from the new space. I'm waiting for an email. That might come up later. But just to give you an idea of what we do, most of it is electronics. The hackerspace mentality, it was mentioned earlier, is just you go there and you do your own thing with like-minded people. Some projects are community projects, joint projects, some projects are just your own projects. It's mostly electronics, and you know, good stuff. I made those, no girls were involved. This is our own home-built laser cutter, which we're very proud of. It was mentioned earlier that make your own tools. Yes, we did that. Here it is cutting this thing, which is a lamp that lights up when the space station is nearby. So that gives you an idea of it's mostly electronics and hardware. It's not so much arts and stuff, but you know, people ask us, what have you done at Open Space Office? Well, we made the space. So that's pretty much all that happened the first 2 years was having a space. So that was really disappointing whenever a guy from a company said, so what are you selling? Or how can we profit from this? How do you profit from this? We don't. We just have fun with the electronics. You can see the laser lighting up here. That's very nice. It's a CO2, 80 watt CO2 laser, so it doesn't actually cut metal. You know, one of the perks of being an independent organization is a shitty internet. So we actually had to monitor how much we use. We have had 30 gigabytes a month. So of course a meter on there to see when to turn off YouTube. But yeah, you know, fun little hacks mostly. Fun part of being you know, not just playing with electronics is you don't actually have to make something you can sell. So this happened. And you know, old retro stuff, mostly just electronics. I have actually some pictures from last Christmas. This doesn't work. Here we go. Which was amazing and fun for the whole family. We had Julepunt workshop. We tore apart old computers and made Christmas decorations out of it. This is Klaartje from Hack 42 in Holland who visited. So that was the Netherlands. That was amazing. So we're part of the global community called hackerspaces.org. I'm surprised no one mentioned it, especially during the Danish makers, because this is actually something that's being done at the moment to combine all the hackerspaces, but more on a global plane, not on the national plane. So, but we're very excited to be here. Oh, I am at least. I'm hoping for some networking. I'm hoping for, you know, just getting the knowledge about the spaces out there, because all we do it for is having fun for ourselves, and I'd hate for anyone to never know that there's a place you can go and play with electronics. So that's my hidden agenda. Make sure everyone knows where to go and have fun. Oh yeah, there's one more thing. My second slide, actually. If this works, come on. This one. This is our internal accounting system. We have, as you can see, this is the admin interface. We have at the moment 60 paying members who now pay 200 kroner a month because we just moved to our very much more expensive, very much smaller space. Key factor being it's not being torn down, so that's why we moved. And we're actually doing quite well. All by ourselves, we have now almost 80,000 danske kroner. And we're saving that up because the place we moved to is being torn down in 3 years. So that's what we do. We just hop to places that are about to be torn down so we can afford them. And we save up for the next move. This admin interface, well, actually the entire accounting system is open source and available online. So we have to make it properly because anyone can see if there's bugs in it. They use it in Aalborg, in HAL 9000. They actually named HAL 9K after, in our honor of, this system is called HAL 800, I think. It's named by the, from the evil computer thing in the Space Odyssey, that's right. But yeah, that's how we gave back to the community. The laser cutter as well is open source, but you know, you're never going to find the parts that we found, so that's really, software is easier that way. Now go ahead and ask questions.
What was the ID tag for? Do you issue cards or something like that for buying materials?
Oh yeah. We moved in a place where you need 2 keys to get in. You need one for the front door and one for our main door, and it's 230 kroner to get a pair of keys. So the first thing we did was made our own access control system, which is linked up to our accounting system. So anyone who pays, who's a paying member, gets an RFID tag that gives you 24-hour access to the space. All it requires is, you know, you open up an extra door, you take a lock off one of the doors so you have a fire exit in case when something catches fire. And, you know, please try and save as much as you can when you set fire to something. So we have fire extinguishers everywhere. Everyone is told how to use them. We test them once a year, it's great fun. But yes, paying members get 24-hour access to the space. So this is one of the only spaces that's always open. Beat that.
But you have to be a member, so, I mean, it says free members.
Free members, that's what we use when we go out and get sponsorships. We tell companies we have 300 members that are going to know about you, give us money.
Okay.
They don't actually do anything but receive emails and show their support.
Okay, so I don't know anything about your space, but I have been to visit Habitat.
Yeah.
And heard about it. So is it a bit similar?
It's very similar.
So because you're saying that it's open all the time, I mean, Habitat is also open all the time if you are a member, a paying member. But it's also open every Tuesday?
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, we have had Tuesdays where the door isn't locked.
Yeah.
And the first Tuesday of every month we have Tech Talk Tuesdays, which quick lightning talks, 15 to 30 minutes. You tell about something you love to do, and everyone is invited. So yeah, the door is open every Tuesday, sometimes Thursday as well.
Okay. But so it's just because you said it's open 24 hours, 7 days a week.
Yeah, actually it's open whenever someone's in there. And the thing is, if you have a key, you decide who gets to go in. So you can be...
So you can actually invite others.
Yes, Trøjborg Arkadespilsforening for one. That's a great picture. I might want to find that if I can. Here we go. Ah, no, that's not the one. Here we go. This is amazing. Trøjborg Arkadespilsforening have 6 arcade machines which they put down in our space, and they rig them so you don't have to put yen in them, which is nice. And only one of them has a key to the space. There are 20 people. I think 2 of them actually, because they realize how much space they take up. One of them has a key, 2 of them maybe, and they, a Wednesday sometime every month, they go there and they play on their machines, and they, you know, leave them for the rest of us to play with, and that's a sweet deal. But the thing is, you can pretty much go into the space whenever someone else is there. We rely on the kindness of other people to help pay the rent, basically. And you know, it is generally frowned upon to be a free member and be there a lot. And you know, people get mocked and they don't get to have their own mug with their name on it. So there's lots of perks.
Thank you very much.
So, my name is Mette Bagana. I'm from Material Design Lab in Copenhagen. I work at a school that's called Copenhagen School of Design and Technology, in Danish KEA, Københavns Erhvervsakademi. I'm here with 2 colleagues. And really we are just moving into a new campus, So we are slightly disorganized at the moment. So I'm not going to show you loads of pictures of what we're already doing because right now I'm getting calls because of the installing at the moment while we're here. So Material Design Lab is a mixture between a laboratory for chemistry and a design prototyping workshop. So we will have like a place where you can test and develop and design new materials. And it's sort of a mixture between very analog and digital. So it could both be that some students have gone out and they have found, like, let's say, waste material from a factory, and they start making molds, and it's really sort of hands-on, getting dirty. But it could also be like a project we're starting now with a research institution in Australia who have developed an artificial bee silk. It turns out that bees, they weave silk, and they have found out how to take the DNA from the silk and cultivate it in bacteria. So one of the things, for instance, we want to do is try and 3D print. Use 3D printers to print this material. So this is like a way where we take over, where sort of like scientists, they sort of, well, I should say that sometimes there's a gap between the science or researchers developing really new innovative materials and industry, because the industry, they don't understand the value of what the scientists have come up with. So it's interesting to sort of like bridge that gap with designers. So just to tell you, let's see if we get the picture back. I did. So part of this lab, Material Design Lab, is also the library. It is a big material sample library and this has just been installed. We're still missing, I don't know, what is it, 60 samples for it to be complete, and there's some tools and some microscopes and stuff that's going up. But this is the library. So apart from the library, we have the lab that I explained. And the next step is developing our workshop areas. And we very much believe not just to sort of have a mixture of both hands-on, hand-working tools and also digital tools. So Anke, who's sitting down here, for instance, is the one who's developing the digital side of things. So if you want to know about it, you should go and talk to her. And we have this idea that because the institution we work in is very broad. We've both got like people who are into building robots and very technical. We've got the people from the building construction industry. We've got the designers. We've got the people who are into designing solar panels, whatever. So it's very, very broad. So we're trying to sort of make the best of having this very broad education. And trying, why it's interesting for us to be here today is also to hear sort of, for instance, like with DTU, what do you do when you're a big institution? You have a digital lab. How do you open up? Should we become a fab lab? Should we not? Should we? How do we open up to the public? How do we collaborate with companies and stuff like that? So that's also sort of things that we're working on at the moment. And when we talk about becoming a fab lab, we talk about, well, how do we create super users amongst the students so that they would be able to keep the space open outside hours, or how can we work better with sort of like the whole open source network? What would we get out of becoming a fab lab? And sort of also just looking into how could we, what do we offer that's different than the other places? I don't know. That was sort of like a lot of talking without any images. I don't know if you managed to get the point of it. Just very short. I don't know if you've got any questions.
Could you repeat? Have you got a webmail address? I didn't quite catch what you said.
It's called Material Design Lab. We're from Copenhagen School of Design and Technology. It's called KEA. If you write KEA.dk, you'll get into the school's website. Or you could, the material library is made in collaboration with Material Connection in New York. So if you go to materialconnection.com, you'll find their website. And of course, the library itself is open both for for our own students and members, but anybody can become a member. But that is, you need to pay. If you're not part of it, if you're not a student, you need to pay to become a member. So we'll have like memberships from companies. But we're thinking that our workshops could work in a different way. Yeah?
I picked up a couple of days ago on Gizmodo Australia
Yeah?
that someone decided at some level to genetically modified bees
Yeah.
and silkworms and use them, basically replace natural beeswax with concrete and the ABS. And the silkworms, they had PLA in their genes, so basically they weren't leaving the silk line, the elastic line. From your point of view as a material specialist, is this the right way?
I'm sorry, I really didn't understand what you were saying.
As in,
You're saying that they are replacing the...
no, they've modified bees, so basically if you leave a swarm on this column, they will print concrete on it, not wax. Is this...
So are you asking me personally now?
No,
I
yeah,
think that ethically
as
is
an
correct.
expert, is this maybe too far taken as in material development?
I think sort of like generally when you work with materials and any kind of like gene modification, definitely you want to be careful. This, however, what we're talking about now is not gene modification. It's basically just taking bacteria, growing proteins, so it's like growing a beef, basically.
Yeah.
It's just that the way you get the material, you actually get a material when you grow this, even though you grow it artificially, you get a material that's 100% biocompatible, which means that you can put it on human skin, you can use it as implants, and the body won't reject it. So you couldn't get a more natural material. It doesn't affect the bees. They're just taking a DNA sample and put it into the bacteria.
Okay.
So it's not the same.
Not the same. It's not
Can I ask?
Yeah?
In here, are there specific educations that you are thinking of particularly using I'm thinking which of the, like the BA programs or
All the programs. All the programs. And for instance, now we've done the library, and we've tried to choose materials that very much represent all the education. So for instance, like we'll have like materials that can be incorporated into the floor that will like that will trace people's movement, or we will have like let's say, well, probably one you all know, Ecovative, the fungus, the mycelium mushroom material that grows. You know that one? Probably many of you have seen. That's been very popular lately. So we have sort of like different types of material, because we both have like building constructors and we have fashion designers and stuff. The interesting thing is that it's not divided up into professions. It's divided up into material sections, because what's interesting is when an architect comes in and find out, wow, they've got some really interesting fabrics in fashion. Maybe I can use these for reinforcement, or the other way around, that the fashion designer find out that they actually have some really interesting textiles using in construction work that you can take into fashion. So it's thought to sort of like, of course we have education that are more into service design, for instance, that might not be so relevant. But many of our educations, they're product focused. They need to produce things. Yeah. Anything else? No? Well, if not, you can come and ask me afterwards if it was a bit unclear.
Okay, hi. My name is Kasper. This is Runa. We're coming from the FabLab TI, the FabLab at the Danish Technological Institute. I'll just give you a brief, little history lesson about the creation of our FabLab, and Runa will go into deeper details with what are we actually doing. Because the thing is that at the Danish Technological Institute, we've been running an inventor service program for over 40 years. So during the last 40 years, we have been screening over 1,000 unique inventions a year coming from ordinary citizens. And through that, we built up an ordinary metal workshop to do prototyping during the years. And that was converted to a prototype workshop 5 years ago. And at that time, we bought our first 3D printer. And then this year, back in April, we opened the Fab Lab, or converted the prototype lab we had already to a Fab Lab, according to the Fab Lab charter. Now Rune will go into deeper details on what are we actually doing.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Kasper. Actually, what we have in our workshop is we have a big screen that says "Find the right it before building it right." And why we use this is because we really want to use this idea about finding out what would be the right value for a product before we go out and spend a lot of time, a lot of money working on the wrong projects. So this other people do, prototyping folks, lean startup folks do it. We do it in a Fab Lab way. So we see a paradigm shift from how back in the days people did prototypes. We do prototyping, and we call it 2.013. And next year we're going to call it 2.014, of course, because it's always in flux, it's always changing. Prototyping today is something we believe is not only for products, but also for services. It's not only for individuals, it's for communities. And we believe that prototyping will be something that we can use it to make a value for society. So basically we are using our 40 years of experience from the opfinderrådgivning and that idea validation and transforming that into a maker atmosphere. We have a Facebook that you are welcome to like. We don't have a website yet. I would like to prototype an idea right now. I want to make a Christmas tree out of you guys. So if you guys over here, we take a group picture. If you do like that, and you do like this, yeah. Okay, now, like now, and then you guys over here, can you join as well? You guys can tag each other afterwards. See. Okay, and then say cheese. Cheese. Great. And you guys as well, you also deserve to be in the picture. And this is just a big welcome, so please come and join our Fab Lab. We hope seeing all of you. Thank you.
I'm trying to find you on Facebook.
Fab Lab TI.
Fab Lab TI.
Yeah.
Do you need the hashtag? Because it doesn't come up with any results.
No, it should be in just write Fab Lab TI. Or I can help you. We didn't say we're open Tuesday and Wednesday from 9 till 4 right now. And Monday, Thursday and Friday is for businesses. Yeah? Anything else?
Yeah, and we use the Fab Lab. We have a school service or educational service where we educate over 2,000 students a year in what we call hands-on innovation, or it's actually prototyping. So we have a lot of students at the lab, also during Mondays and non-open days, and we use it a lot for that.
Oh, actually we have Julenørd with the Roskilde Festival next weekend.
Yeah.
There's going to be 150 kids.
Yeah.
Saturday and Sunday, so join that as well.
Yeah, send your kids there.
Yeah, send your kids there. Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, hi everyone. I'm Mikkel, and I work at this place called DTU Skylab. We were the guys that a couple of months ago were called DTU Innovatorium, and then some crazy people came and said, we'll sue you unless you change your name. We didn't win that argument, but I think they were in the perfect right. So we changed the name. We asked our users what should we be called. They said DTU Skylab, and that's where we are right now. Anyway, DTU Skylab is, we consider it a melting pot. It's a fairly new place. We opened the 1st of March this year, so we are some of the new guys in class. And we're not a Fab Lab, dedicated Fab Lab. We are melting pot. And as we see, we have 3 focus areas. We are placed on campus at DTU in Lyngby. And this is basically a place where people with ideas, or people who want to meet people with ideas, should come, as we see. The 3 focus areas are that we're not just a place you can use as a part of the education. So it's a place where you come with your own project. That could have elements of entrepreneurship. So sometimes it's students that have ideas for projects that could become startups in time. Sometimes it's just projects, meaning they want to test something, want to prototype something. And sometimes it's people who already have a CVR number. Sometimes they have a startup. And we try to embrace all of those 3. We have some external company projects that is mostly small and medium-sized companies that are looking for collaboration with students from DTU. So we try to provide them an opportunity. You can see it actually right here. This is a place where they can post all their challenges, all their projects for students. And the last thing, being on On university, of course, we collaborate with the courses. So a lot of ALICE students that we met early on has been at the DTU Skylab. Right now, it seems like we're not the only one losing our buildings, so we are also being torn down in a couple of months. But it seems to be an issue here today. Anyway, right now we have around 800 square meters located on campus. The good news are that we'll get even more square meters a couple of months from now. But right now it looks like this. We knew that from the beginning that this place would be torn down. So actually this is a prototype in itself. So instead of building it perfectly, making it look very nice, this is by far the most trashy place on DTU, I think. But instead of building it like a beautiful place, we thought, okay, how can we make this work in a couple of months and test it? So basically we just tried to test a lot of stuff. What kind of event makes sense? What kind of equipment should we have? How should we, the interior be and stuff like that. So we basically found a lot of tables in the basement and just put them up. We have some office facilities. We have some open workspaces. You can see them up here. Basically just come in. They're open 24/7. You just go in and find the table, sit down, start working. We also have some smaller meeting rooms like this one and a small project room. And they are just basically just come in there and use them. Of course we have workshops. This is a picture from the main workshop, having CNC milling machine in the background, stuff like that. We also have 3D printers, laser cutters, etc. and a small electronic workshop being built right now actually. In collaboration with the students. So basically we just ask them what you want in there, and now we're trying to see how that fits our budget and trying to build it. And as I said, we also have courses down there, so we have an event room as well using it as an auditorium. Early on, the social aspects of building a place like this was mentioned, and that's quite important for us as well. So we have some social spaces with the football and the Xbox and stuff like that. So we want, it's very important for us that we try to create a community, and it should be a cross-disciplinary community. So we don't want 10 chemistry engineering students to start a startup together. We want them to collaborate with perhaps some people from with a business background or a design background or something else, communication background. So that's why we focus so much on having a lot of events. I think we have 26 this fall, and we want it to be a social space. So, besides the facilities, I think the network is quite an important part of our place. We have, it's also a part of the partnership as we do. We have some partnership with professional companies like lawyers, lawyer firm and design firms and stuff like that. So the students can come down there and we can introduce them to people who know something about IPR rights, for instance, if they're starting up a company. I mentioned all the talks and workshops we have there. And I think also the internal network and external network is quite important. So this is a place where you can meet other students, you can meet people with great projects. Perhaps you can be a part of that project, and also it's a place where you can meet people from outside DTU, because, as I said, we don't want them all to just meet each other, but we also want to attract some people from the outside that we can meet. So I think the brief version is this. Do you have any questions? Okay, but yeah.
Are you linked to the same DTU that Ali was talking about? The same university?
Yeah. This is the Technical University of Denmark. Ali also mentioned FabLab, and that's not us. That's the 3D printing place at DTU. We're Skylab, so of course we're collaborating, but we're at the same place basically. Yeah.
How was it funded?
How it was funded? Yeah. Partly by DTU, partly by the region.
You forgot to mention that there's free coffee.
yeah. Free coffee and free materials. Yeah. Okay, but anytime you're in Copenhagen, please drop by to visit. We would love to have you there. So thank you for your time.
Okay, hi. Just like Skylab, I would like to start with a kind of an identity crisis situation, because we are usually, Jesper and I and our friend Jamie, we have been the guys that have been referred to as the Roskilde Festival, which we are kind of. We come from a come from a new department of Roskilde Festival called Orange Innovation. We are the innovation department and the new business department, which is set in the world of from the festival to generate new revenue and new business to the charity organization Roskilde Festival. So just to make that clear, that's kind of where we're from. We have gone into a direction where we have created an association called Orange Makers, and we have done that because we have found a lot of interesting opportunities and possibilities in the maker environment or in the maker area. So basically what we have is that we have kind of a three-legged project which kind of consists of a space and a festival for kids and a festival for adults. So in that way we kind of also bring the traditions of the Roskilde Festival further, but in a totally new context and in a totally new format, so to speak. So basically what we are about is we want to bring makers together and to build experiences and DIY products and events together. We are very inspired of also the whole DIT, do it together, mentality. So, well, just to, this is going to be quite an overview of kind of the projects that we have started, because if we are going to go into the possibilities of the actual different venues that we are creating, I think I could probably talk for way too long. You guys know what a maker is, so we're going to skip that. But the three, the three different ventures that we are going on is, as I said, the Made Festival, and here we have some interesting name game with the name Made Academy that we just heard about a second ago. So that's gonna be interesting. Then we have the Orange Makerspace, which I will start with explaining what that is, and then Made by Kids, which is a festival concept for children. The Orange Makerspace, it's a 3,500 square meter large old warehouse, which has functioned as a warehouse for Roskilde Festival. Now we want to bring it to life. It's not going to be a warehouse anymore. And we're going to bring it to life with starting to build up workshop activities or facilities in the beginning that kind of spans from the whole spectrum of from hackerspace to Fab Lab to makerspace. I think we are very interested in also breaking all these formats, using the maker terminology correctly, like hacking the formats of all these kind of things. We are of course very inspired of also, like, we come from a cultural background, we are inspired of cultural and artistic forums, like different projects where artists has gone together and revitalized old buildings and so on. We are of course 100% volunteer driven, so we are trying to build this huge space up with a backbone of volunteers. And how we are doing that right now is that every Thursday we are having an open house in the makerspace, where we are both having some facilitated activities, which can be everything from painting a wall to building an office to moving stuff that is in the way, to kind of also just inviting people in to do their own projects or own like what would they kind of wish to see in the space. So there's a lot of also dream processes and looking for the possibilities of the space. What we would love it to be, we would love it to contain. We already have a wood workshop, but which is very low tech. We would love it to make it more, so to speak, like a high tech wood workshop, which with all the facilities that you already have described, with the CNC milling and so on. We would like a really nice Fab Lab hacker space where you could work with technology and so on. We have a metal workshop which needs to be built up kind of again, but and we have big rooms for events, projects, and so on. We really hope that we are gonna create both events that are gonna bring people from our old volunteer system from the festival. We want also to be a backbone for the festival to open up towards the world, so you can easily interact, have a forum to interact with that structure, but also new and exciting experiences in the space. So as a combination of these all year round activities in the makerspace, we have the Made Festival. And the Made Festival is a 14-day festival surrounded like focused on maker activities. We used to when we were talking about we're talking about it as at Roskilde Festival. We are putting the artists on stage here. There is no artist performing to you for you, and the audience is not just an observer. The audience is an interactor, and the person that are actually on stage is the maker, or the audience, could you say, as a co-creator. The festival is going to be held at the same place where the Orange Makerspace is located at the area called Musicon in Roskilde, an old concrete factory. Yeah, and that's the new festival for makers. We're gonna have a long line of activities. We are interested in various different topics, and to just name a few, we are interested in the whole bicycle movements of Southern Europe. We are very interested in kind of like the hacking and the 3D printing methodologies that also have been presented today. So we are also we are trying to also create events and invite people in that are really skilled in also making an open event to people that has perhaps close to none experience with working with this. That's just some of the elements that we are working with or within. We have Made by Kids, which is a 14-day festival for children. It's a what's it called? It's a further development of a project we made called Nerd Camp together with DR, taking the departure in the very popular Danish TV concept Stornørd. This is the same, but with more activities, more camps. It's a summer camp basically for children, where children can come and learn and interact with, for instance, natural science. There's going to be a food camp this year. Going to have I think working with different Lego techniques and robotics and so on. So to kind of make it also a space where children can learn from an early age, also very inspired by what Rasmus was talking about, the Fab Lab Denmark were doing in elementary school. Yeah, so camps. Oh yeah, that's actually here the camps are. Media camp is one of them as well. And I think that was kind of like the quick overview of our various different projects that we are doing at the moment. We are very interested in engaging with everybody in this network, and people are not in this room right now. So please come to us with questions. If you have anything that you would like to push into this framework, then be our guest. Is there any questions now?
Who's the crowd that you focus on for the Made Festival?
For the Made Festival, So basically, what we have is kind of we are kind of developing activities at the moment. So that's also a part of that process of targeting different interests, target groups and stuff. But basically, we are actually trying to unfold different concepts for different both different target groups in age, but also different target groups in kind of like which threshold can they interact with. So both trying to make activities that are really interesting to people that are maybe engineers or so on, that are really, really skilled makers, and activities that are really, really low threshold that can be a gateway into, growing as a maker. So kind of we are trying to fit as broad an audience as possible. We would like to be, we are very folkly in the Danish terminology. Yeah, so.
When is it?
The festival is the 2 last weeks of August, and before that, Made by Kids Festival is the 2 first weeks of August. So we are having a full month festival in August. So you can just swing by Musicon.
think you have a beautiful brand. So would you think about doing advertising for all the other Fab Labs in Denmark when you're doing something, or
I, well, like,
just doing tell me good stories about this is not only being done in Roskilde, but this is being done in Aalborg.
Yeah.
And
Well,
also it could be our sort of advertising platform.
But in that sense, I think we are just as eager to kind of like engage in this network as people are here. That's why we are here. So definitely, like if we identify that some of our strong suits are maybe communication or a broader appeal, or like how you can verbalize that, then yes, of course, that will be something that was super interesting to us. Also, maybe it's not a secret after the presentation that I'm perhaps not the most technical person, and yeah, so all this is also quite new. So that's also where we would seek inspiration and help to that, like the more technical parts. Also, we have talked about like bringing a forum like this to the festival in end August, of course.
But what you're saying, Henrik, is it's quite interesting that if you as a parent bringing your kids along when you don't live in Aalborg or Aarhus or whatever, that you actually after this 2 weeks or month trip also realize that there's an interest and you can actually attend those places nearby or wherever you are based.
Yeah, but that's
makes sense.
It's a super interesting concept. At least like I haven't just the idea of how to make it, but yeah. It'll be a fun thing to work on, like.
Thank you.
All right.
My name is Majbrit, and I come from Spinderihallerne i Vejle. We are basically run by Vejle municipality. I'll start with a bit of history. In the interest of attracting creative minds and entrepreneurs to Vejle, we've started Spinderihallerne. It's been working since 2004, and in 2010 we moved into newly renovated factory, an old spinning mill, 13,000 square meters, and we open up a 400 square meter factory area, a workshop area. It's not a fab lab because there's some machines we don't have, but basically the whole idea is it's for creative businesses, designers, idea generators and so on, and also companies that are eager to work with designers and creative people in developing their products. So besides having this workshop area, we have nearly 70 individual companies that actually stay there. So it's sort of an incubator, but also a business network, but purely creative businesses. And the whole idea is that people from Vejle and around the area actually use the facilities, both for meetings, working, finding interesting people to share ideas with and so on, and use the facilities. We have a 3D printer and a vinyl cutter, but that's about it. In terms of digital machinery, then we have a lot of woodwork facilities and mock-up area. Lego blocks, glue pistols and so on. The idea is that the mock-up is also based on paper and so on, until you start cutting it in wood and printing it in 3D printing. And we run 3D printing courses and machinery courses. So people have 24-hour access with a card to enter the area. But the new thing is that we're looking into, it's been open since 2010. I actually don't have very many photos here, but I thought I'd just show the website. What we started doing is, over the last few years, we've worked very much with kids in terms of that we are a municipality and we are looking at the challenges in terms of how do you maintain creativity in kids, but from 9/11 and with the new inclusion laws and school reforms, how do you actually, I think Rasmus or was it Fleming that talked about that you're merging some subjects as well, design subjects. So how are kids being able to experience working with design processes and mock-ups and so on. So we're working very closely with the primary and secondary teachers to actually run workshops for them to go back at their schools and work with the methods and new technology in schools. And I will just... Did you say I had to tap twice? Okay. There's a bit, it's all in Danish, sorry. But besides the 13,000 square meters, we have another old cotton factory area. And the idea is that we'd like to focus much more on a Fab Lab school project, where we actually engage with kids, so at school, but also after school clubs, a bit like you were talking about the festival, so that there's actually, it's not, kids' interest isn't only determined by whether or not they have science when they are 9 or 10 and experience in working with the tools, but they have the opportunity to come in after school clubs. And the teachers, it's the fact is that there are a lot of creative businesses based in Spillerihallerne or all over Denmark in other regions that have the opportunity to give away their understanding of new technologies in 3D to actually educate the teachers in terms of bringing new skills into the teachers' network and thereby into students. So that's the new thing we're looking at and working with. And at the moment, the workshop is being used for people who come down and do 3D printing. It may be for their clients and do modeling for clients, manufacturing and so on, that need new areas of interest or focus on the product development, that you use the different designers and businesses to do that. But Tina Clemmensen sits down here and is an animator and is also using the facilities to do, for example, stop motion workshops with kids down to 4 years old, where they're actually using different materials and recording it and putting it into iPad as well. So it's quite a broad area of facilities. But we're based in Vejle and are very keen on sharing. We are working together with Aarhus municipality and Silkeborg and Vejle municipalities and about 12 or 15 schools in making this happening. And one of the ideas that we are very keen on is actually making facilities where you can actually have a live streaming of when the kids are working, and the fact that how can you share knowledge is between the school kids and the teachers at the same time, so that you have a little stage area where you can go over and present live your challenges with the material and thereby share the knowledges from other areas of Fab Labs or workshop areas at the same time. So we would be keen on if anybody have experience with that or would be interested in developing that further as well. Yeah, that's it for me.
Any questions?
I was just wondering, is it open to the general public?
Is it open to the general public? Yeah, I mean, if you can either be registered with a CVR number, you don't have to. So anybody who's opfinder or idea generator and would like to come down, there is a workshop responsible that would be able to help you. You have to have a license. It takes half a day to go through all the machines, or you have to have a license in the 3D printing. But then there's an architect there and other skilled people that can help you with your challenges. So mainly it's people who do have modeling experience, but we also, I mean, in the last Edison week, we had a group of 14 kids from different schools that had a challenge, and they came down and did modeling and ended up, some of the groups ended up printing their stuff, and it was amazing what they actually were able to do, and they were 6th grade students, so 11 for how old they are, yeah. So you can go in as a public, but you have to have a key and pay 350 krona a month to be part of it, yeah, to use the machines. But you can also come in the hours where the workspace area person is there, yeah. Any other questions? Okay, thanks.